because I know at some point I just had came to like a dark road, at the end of a dark road, where I was just like, it's either me or him. Hey y'all, it's your favorite creative galore. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. And for the new viewers, thank you for joining the community today and subscribing, because we know you'll love it here. In today's video, I'll be sharing my testimony on challenges I faced and overcame. From a college dropout to moving from pain to purpose, and much more. Before we get into the video, if you would like to follow my journey to glow up, be sure to subscribe and follow my TikTok and Instagram to receive behind the scenes content. Now, let's get into the video. So, I just want to make you guys aware I have my iPad. So if you see me looking down while filming, it's because I'm looking down on my iPad. I have timeline on this testimony, and I hope this helps someone today. If someone's going through a situation or is within a situation like the one I'm speaking about today, I hope that God speak through me to be able to deliver a message to you and give you some revelation. So first, I'll be starting the story with how I dropped out of college. I attended Broward Community College to join the law enforcement field. I wanted to be a caseworker at first, but then I changed my degree to business and law. I attended classes on and off during my years in college. I knew I didn't want any limitations on the amount I can earn hourly in a career, but I was debating on following my dreams or doing what was expected of me as a high school graduate. So I graduated Miami Northern Senior High School in Miami the year 2015. And honestly, y'all, I thought I wasn't going to graduate because that year, instead of the FK school board, required us to pass the SAT. So they changed the curriculum for graduating the year that I was getting ready to graduate. So I thought I wasn't going to pass as far as that last requirement, but my GPA and I had met all of my credits I needed to graduate for that year. So we had at least, I think they told us at the beginning of the school year, but we literally had only a year to study for the SAT. But to God be the glory, okay? I passed the SAT and I was able to walk the stage May of 2015. So from that time, I went to Broward Community College. And at first, I was speaking with a mentor, somebody that's in the admissions department, and she basically was telling me, with all that I was giving her that I wanted to do, she basically was telling me that she felt like caseworking would be good for me. But I started credits on case management, but I did not finish. Like within like 3 classes of taking up that degree, I moved to business and law because I realized that I wanted to be more in the field and not really sitting at a desk. And when I say that, I mean going to like courtrooms and like fighting to help more so people of color in the court systems. And if I had to be honest, law was something I wanted to take up as far as a degree because of the money they made in that field. So I had passion in it, but I would say the money was another huge aspect of why I wanted to go to law school, but it didn't sustain me to staying in college. When I was a little girl, I always knew God had a vision for me. And God had a plan for me. Like my first actual thought when I was a child about money or gaining money was in help of servicing or helping someone, but not servicing like hands-on, but like creating a device or a product that could help someone. And I knew from that point forward that I was called to be an entrepreneur, but I did not know how that plan was gonna like play out. But that always was something that was near and dear to my heart. Of course, as somebody that has graduated high school, the standard would be you go to college and you graduate and you get you a job in your career field. But something about that just didn't fulfill me. You know, it didn't fulfill me. I feel like when it comes to companies now that I've worked with so many corporate jobs, like jobs for me, it always put me in a box. Like it never gave me a chance to like really be my full self. And I always had to go by policies or guidelines to be able to assist a customer. But I realized that when I really gave my real personality, or when I was relatable with customers at corporate jobs, it would allow me to get more of a result, right? So they love the result, but they challenged us to do things by policy. So I realized that I started to become unfulfilled in a corporate workspace, because I just knew I did not want to be behind a cubicle for the rest of my life and at a max payout, because we know that when you join corporate jobs and you're working in the field, when you first start working, they offer you a rate, but likely when it comes to increases, it's probably a 50-cent increase, 75-cent increase. It's never above $1. And you likely would be working there for 7 years. They hire someone else for that position, and if they hire somebody else for that position within that 7-year period, they'll likely be making more money than you. My spirit just did not connect with a lot of people in the corporate world, because to be honest, a lot of companies are just greedy. Like their main goal is money. Their main goal is to keep people in debt or to keep people caught up within a contract. And I just didn't, I don't know. I know I had to do it because I had bills to pay, but again, it just didn't fulfill me. It wasn't something that I was passionate about. I knew it wasn't a part of my purpose, but I can say doing customer service for major corporate companies has also helped me understand how to provide customer service and how to run a successful business. It showed me the do's and the don'ts of running a successful business. The beginning of 2024, at the end of 2023, I dropped out. I never finished my last class before receiving my AA degree. I didn't know what I wanted to do next. I just knew college was not a part of my future. My heart desired creativity and entrepreneurship. I wasn't sure what industry I wanted to be in or pursue. However, I knew college wasn't it. So, like I said, within I was in and out of college for about 4 to 5 years. So I'll take classes, I'll complete the classes, receive my credit, but then for the next 2 semesters I wouldn't go. And it had somewhat to do with when you're working at a corporate job, they give you a set schedule. And sometimes when I would go in to pick my classes for that semester, the time that I needed wasn't available. So I'll have to wait for the next semester to be able to sign up. School was fully funded and paid for, and I had no stress in regards to my supplies or even getting to school because I had my own reliable transportation. But it just didn't fulfill me, y'all. Honestly, it just didn't fulfill me. And while going to school and working these corporate jobs, how can I say it? God was always calling me to a bigger purpose, but I didn't really realize that until about 3 to 4 years from now. So if we're counting back, we're in 2025, 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021. So around 2021 is when I realized God was taking me down another avenue, but I just didn't fully trust or surrender to his will, and it delayed a lot of what God could have done for me, but I don't regret the circumstances or the environments or situations I was in, because it helped me grow and become a better woman. From pain to purpose. So while I was in college, I was in a relationship. This relationship was not founded in Christ. At the time, I wasn't aware I was in or dealing with spiritual warfare. I was in a relationship with a narcissist, and at the time, I didn't know I was dealing with this all at once, but the relationship is one of the reasons why I was led to isolation. Before the new year 2024, I prayed the separation prayer, and we know how that separation prayer could get. The separation prayer is not a joke. When you pray, this prayer will allow God to remove anything and anyone that is not in his will for your life. Before I said the prayer, I become very tired of fighting the same challenges, expected changes from my circumstances, but the people in the company I kept around me daily was not matching up to the goals I wanted for my life. The relationship was really draining. It took a lot of time and energy away from me. I was under the influence of a demonic spirit that was controlling, manipulative, and required a lot of my energy and attention, as well as validation. He would gaslight me and make me feel like I was the number one reason why everything in the relationship wasn't working out. I would give affection, but I never received it back unless I was doing something he wanted. For example, cleaning, cooking, washing clothes, and etc. Mentally, physically, and emotionally, I was not the same person I was going into the relationship as I was coming out. Throughout the time of me being in college, I met this guy. And honestly, I have to be honest, my morals and like who I am today was not who I was back then when we first started dating. We was dating for 7 years. And for my own personal reasons, I viewed money in a way where I felt like a man had to like provide or take care of me. And the reason why what started me feeling like men had to be a provider was because of the way my daddy raised me and how he did for me, right? And not only that, I knew God, but I was like what they would call like a lukewarm Christian. The way God would bless me with things or give me hope about relationships and the way I knew love to be because of the way I was loved, that's what I expected. But I feel like within, my generation, a lot of the music promoted men giving you money, showering you materialistic things. And with listening to that music, I started to captivate that mindset. And I met my ex at a mechanic shop when I was getting my car service. And it wasn't really me that spoke to him. It was actually my sister. She was trying to get us to talk and date. And I just wasn't really feeling it. Like, I wasn't really feeling it. But I still did it because I still got into a relationship with him because I was seeking validation and I wanted to be accepted. But I wasn't doing it in a right way. The intentions of the reason and why I wanted it was not pure. And when we first started talking, he was everything I wanted him to be. Like, he checked off all the boxes. And as time went by within our relationship, things just started to go left. The beginning of the relationship was basically him showing me what he could be, or the potential of who he could be. But as we got more into the relationship, it started to feel like who he was pretending to be started to fade away. And we started getting into arguments more. Every time we get into an argument, it was a fault. It was the argument was always turned back on me, as if I was the fault of why the argument was happening. Very manipulative, and always made me feel like I wasn't enough. Like and for 7 years, I won't even say 7, because the first year and a half or even 2 years, I didn't feel the way I felt leaving a relationship. But for the remaining years, it's just my heart wanted him to go back to who he was when I first met him. But I realized that it was just all a facade. It was just all a game, like a way to make me feel or to fall for him. It was more so like love bombing. Like he portrayed to be this person to get me to fall in love with him. But as the years went on, his true personality, who he really was, started to reveal itself. And honestly, I was heartbroken, because it's like I worked for the rest of them years to try to get the relationship back to where it used to be, but it just never was the same. And I have to be honest too, I'm not going to put all of the reason why the relationship didn't work on him. But I also have to say that starting within this relationship, I had to be 20 or 21 years old, getting into my 20, like just starting in my 20s. And I wasn't really healed. Like, I had a lot going on at that time. I had my own apartment. I was working 2 jobs and going to college. And I was in a full-time relationship. So a lot of my frustration, a lot of my way of thinking at that time provoked some of the arguments, but I wouldn't say 100% of them. Like, I just, after so long of dealing with the manipulation, I just didn't have the mental capacity to continue on the relationship, because I know at some point I just had came to like a dark road, at the end of a dark road, where I was just like, it's either me or him. And I said that prayer. Y'all. Okay. January 2024, I entered my isolation season. By faith, I moved to Orlando, seeking a new beginning from what I was familiar with. I was tired of repeating the same cycles and getting the same results. In isolation, the pruning began. After I left the relationship, I started to deal with financial delay, and God started to prune rotten fruit. One of the things God made me aware of during this isolation season is how I idolized money and how I didn't really trust him or myself. So I'm currently still in what they would call the isolation season, but I've been here for about a year now, and I've learned so much about myself I've learned so much about my calling and my purpose. I am happier. I am mentally available and stable. I've lost weight. I'm eating better. I'm back in school, studying cosmetology, and I just feel so at peace, y'all. Like, I can't even explain it. Like, I can't even explain the peace that I feel. And I don't want to be in a relationship right now. Like, I feel like if you're not equally yoked with the person that you're dating, or if you're planning to pursue a relationship with, then it's just not gonna ever work. Like, it'll be counterfeit after counterfeit after counterfeit, and you're just delaying yourself of the healing that you need, the building the relationship that you need with God to be able to receive the things that He really wants for you. And you're also delaying your calling and purpose. Now, God's timing is perfect. I know everything that has happened in my life has happened for a reason, but I just think about where could I be right now if I would have just been obedient and surrendered earlier on. But I know God doesn't make any mistakes, and I would say what I've went through has helped me understand what I don't want in a husband, what I don't want in friendships, and what's more important to me this year than anything is cultivating and building lucrative relationships that when I pour into someone, that they're able to equally pour into me. When I walk into a room, I'm motivated by the people that's within my environment, and I'm inspired because they already are where I'm wanting to be or where I'm trying to go. So that's more so of, you know, what I'm working on this year. That's one of my important goals. If you made it this far in the video, be sure to like the video. I also want you to comment something that you're being challenged with at this time in your life, to build conversation in the comment section. Also subscribe if you haven't already. Check the description to follow my Instagram and TikTok handles. So I have this bag. It has a lot of like inspirational quotes and stuff like that. So there are several. Let me take it out of this thing. There are several, and I'm going to pull from one of these quotes or inspirational quotes and just read it, right? Hopefully one of these quotes speak to someone today. Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes and pick. Okay, let's see. I like where I am, and I am over the moon about where I'm going. I like that. So I use these inspirational quotes. I have them sitting in my bathroom. So at times when I start to think about my past, or, you know, thinking about going back because I just feel, you know, challenged about the new things that God, you know, is showing me or wanting me to walk into, I use those inspirational quotes to give me some uplifting. But I have to say, I'm closer to God than I've ever been. I commit to reading my Bible and seeking God daily. That's not something that stops or ever ends. And God is number one in my life. Anything or anyone that's coming into my life has to align with the will of God. And if you don't, then it wasn't meant to be. So my spirit has been awakened, and I just look at everything from a spiritual point of view, because we are in a spiritual world. Idolizing money and materialistic things. Earlier in the video, I mentioned how I desire entrepreneurship. I was in a relationship for the wrong reasons and living life from my fleshly desires, trying to do everything in my own power, idolizing money and materialistic things at the price of almost losing myself. God isolated me so that he could prepare me for what I was praying for. Before he could bless me with the things my heart desired, he wanted to make sure my heart posture was in the right place. This is why it's important to seek God daily and to allow God to order your steps. God revealed to me why I idolize money, and to put the explanation on a more simple scale, it was rooted from wanting validation and not accepting things in my past as for what they were. Because in scripture, God would not take something away from you that he wouldn't give back to you from what you lost plus more. This month, I joined Aveda Institute to study cosmetology. If you know me, then you know I've been doing hair since middle school. I may have jumped in and out of the type of hair I did, but I always stayed doing hair as a way to make money and to escape from reality. Because when I'm in my creative mind, it's like I'm on a whole different planet. I have to make clear that this blessing didn't come without spiritual warfare and preparation. But honestly, I wouldn't want it to have happened any other way. Now that I'm in Orlando, I've been in Orlando for a year. If you haven't watched my last video about testimony of me leaving, or when God called me to leave my corporate job or 9 to 5. The first year that I was in Kissimmee, I joined a corporate job. And honestly, y'all, before I moved here, I did a 3-day fast, and I was seeking God in reference to, like, you know, how I was going to be able to provide for myself, because I had actually quit a job, a work from home job I was working back in Miami, before actually moving to Kissimmee, because God told me to quit that job. So I just repeated the cycle again, coming to Orlando and getting another job out of fear of, again, me idolizing money, but also out of the fear of not wanting to, like, trust myself fully or even trust God. So he had told me on my fast that I was coming up here to pursue entrepreneurship, and I just wanted it to happen the way I thought it was going to happen, but God had another way. So after almost a year working on that job, because I got hired in February of 2024, but I left November of 2024, and that was just really a year of, like, wasted time due to me not surrendering, because I believe cosmetology school was something I was supposed to start January of 2024, but I didn't join because my work schedule did not align with Aveda's school schedule. So I couldn't go to school because I was more so focused on my bills and trying to do it by myself again without the help of God. But this year, as of November of 2024, I fully surrendered. And I'm actually happy. Like, I am doing something I love. I'm fully in my creative mind, and I could just be myself. I'm not in a box cubicle, and I'm not being told what to do. I'm not doing things that are outside of my morals or that are outside of my integrity to make sales for another company that could care less about if I didn't come back tomorrow, because they would find another employee to replace me quickly. So coming into isolation, when I first moved up here, I did not know that I was in isolation. I thought that I was just moving away for a fresh start, but no. Immediately as I settled in, I started to deal with spiritual warfare. And one of the things that I realized was being highly affected was my finances. And I believe my finances were affected because I wasn't obedient to what God was calling. I wasn't being obedient to what God was calling me to do. So it did cause delay because, like I said, when I first got up here, I should have went straight into cosmetology school and did what I needed to do to graduate, because if I would have went last year, January, I would have been graduating this month of this year. So I have completely surrendered, y'all. I'm no longer in control. Okay, it's God. I am so at peace. And throughout other fasts that I've done here in Orlando, I've realized why I had the point of view that I had about money and how I used it, and how God would like for me to use money and steward it for his kingdom. So that leads me into the next portion of this video. And now I am building a brand on kingdom principles. Preparation led me to transformation. I am not the same person I was early. Oh no. Person I was early 2024. I built a close relationship with God. I am single and I'm not looking to mingle. I no longer enjoy doing the things I used to, and everything I do now is with intention. I've learned the fruits of the spirit, and I hold myself accountable to walking by them daily. I put God first in every decision I make and moves I plan to make in the future. I don't seek worldly validation, and I have grew spiritually, so my discernment is on 1,000. I no longer look at situations from a worldly view, but spiritually. I know who my provider is, and I don't view money from the same lens. My hairline, Galore Luxe Extensions, is being rebranded as I speak and will be relaunching very soon. But it won't be in my own might. God is my CEO, and I'll run my business venture and invest in it with kingdom principles, because I no longer am who I was before God saved me. But it won't be in my own might. God is my CEO, and I will run my business venture and investments with kingdom principles, because I no longer am who I was before God saved me. I'm actually excited, y'all. I'm excited to see where God is going to take me. And when I left the corporate job or 9 to 5, I had no plan, y'all. I had no plan B, and I still don't have a plan B because I've completely surrendered. But I want to say, God, I feel like I'm currently waiting for a big blessing. And I've been waiting for some time now. But I'm patiently waiting because I know what God has for me, and the blessing that's about to come is going to over exceed my expectations. And I will rather it God way than me doing it my way, because it'll always be out of my fleshly desires, and without God I am nothing. So if you have any questions, or if you have any concerns, or if you just want to comment, please be sure to communicate in the comment section below. I haven't been on YouTube. I haven't been consistent with YouTube, and I told myself this year I'm going to give you guys more personal behind the scenes of my daily life, but I'm trying to do a little bit more sit down videos so you guys can get to know me and get to know my personality, get to know more of my story before I just throw at y'all my daily life and the things that I'm doing. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section, because I want to do like a real get to know me video, and I want to allow my community to get to know me. And for the new viewers, ask any question y'all have. I think I have one video on my YouTube channel where I do a get to know me, but I was still in that relationship at that time, so I'm not sure if a lot of what I said in that video is still the same as it is today. But yeah, I would like to see y'all comments in the comment section. If y'all have any questions, put the questions in the comment section so I can answer them down below. I'm going to answer every question, or I might just do a separate video answering any questions that you guys may have about this video, or just for me in general. If you haven't watched my new series, Godpreneurship, be sure to watch my last episode. In this series, I'll be sharing my day-to-day behind the scenes of an entrepreneur following kingdom principles to create generational wealth and to break generational curses. Until next time, stay connected with my socials to see short form content. See you guys in the next one. Bye.